So today I want to talk about kind of another way that we can level up our lives, and the problem that we generally face is how we're living. So let's talk about the outcome first, which is being more creative, finding better solutions, finding things that other people generally wouldn't think of, leading by example, leading through, um, you know, uh, ideas. Generally speaking, doing things that other people don't do or wouldn't have thought of. And I think it comes down to this one word, which is imagination. Now, you can think of it as like a, kindergarten thing, imagination and playing pretend and all this stuff. But I want to talk about it from a minimalist standpoint and kind of where I want to start changing my life. So, with minimalism, we start to declutter the things around us so that we can think clearly and we have more time for the things that we really value or can spend more time on the things that we find really important. So we go through our stuff, we keep things, toss things, and then put things in a limbo. And we end up with a more beautiful open space, a place where things can move freely, things have room to breathe. It's just that result of minimalism. No distractions, all that, right? Which is, I find, one of the best ways to live. Now, we move on from there after you kind of declutter and minimize your bedroom and your house and your car. Then you move on, you're like, oh yeah, I have a lot of files on my computer. I'm going to delete a bunch of these. And then you have some accounts and you delete those accounts and emails and stuff like that. You start to get rid of your digital clutter because that's what's next. I mean, physical, digital. And then now I kind of want to talk about the next kind of thing, which would be the mental clutter. And it's kind of a new thinking of mine. I guess this is like third tier minimalism, if you can put it into that. Like, you're just not going to start here. And this is like deleting all the downloaded music off of your phone. Removing the audiobooks that you're not using. Like, this sounds like digital clutter, but I'm talking mentally. So you have these things in your head. And then you have your YouTube channels that you follow. You have your Prime membership. You have your Hulu. You have your Netflix. Now, these are subscriptions, and I know it sounds digital, but they're in your head, taking up space and taking up something to do, right? So when you still have that twitch, or like, okay, let's say you did do all your errands because you're a minimalist and you streamlined your day and you're finished at 6 p.m., right? And you're like, oh, now what? I guess I'll watch a movie. So this is what I'm saying is, what if you just got rid of that movie and that option, that YouTube channel, and you change it into you only use this other side of your head, like the audiobooks, books in general, YouTube, Netflix, all of those only to serve the specific function of like what you initially think they're for. So YouTube, you think, well, yeah, I need to research things. I need those how-tos. I need to look up things. But what if you don't? What if you don't use that in general, unless you really, really need to? And instead of doing any of these things that you think that they're for, you start to just use your imagination and think about it and go for a walk. No music on your walk, no audiobooks on your walk, nothing like that. And you just think and you just ponder and you create in your brain, and you don't use external things. That's the whole key. How could you use an imagination if you're getting input of any sort? You need to cut all the inputs to become more imaginative, to be more creative. Yes, your influence and inspiration can come from external things, but you're not going to be actually creative during an input session of any sort. So what I'm saying here is, get rid of your stuff, get rid of your digital clutter, then get rid of the inputs and the external creativities so that you can be imaginative. So your mind opens up. Your mind has freedom. It has space, like a room has cleared, to become imaginative and start thinking of things that should have thought of and could have thought of. Where otherwise you're used to just watching YouTube and be like, oh yeah, that's a cool shot, I'm gonna try to implement something like that. Oh, and then you're a little creative on spot, but that's not creative. That's just working something out, an idea. You just won't come up with great things while you're getting input. And I think it's Marcus Aurelius and Einstein. All of these people always say the greatest ideas ever came during a walk. And you could even just sit on a bench without any stimulus, alone, and that would probably do it. So that's where my head's at. I've been just thinking a lot about this mental clutter, and the mental clutter of input. I want to clear it out loud. I want to get rid of it. I want to stop watching YouTube for entertainment. I want to stop, lower my queue of movies that I want to watch in Prime. All these things of input, I just want to get rid of them so that my mental state is just really clean and I know exactly what I'm thinking about. I have room to be imaginative and creative, along with having my space, having more freedom to think and do the things I want. Then my digital clutter is nice and clean so that I can operate without friction. I think that's the next level for sure. And then if I'm thinking off the top of my cuff right now, what would be next would be something to do with people and connection. But I don't think you can get there until you can actually think for yourself. And you can't think for yourself if you're getting that input. Okay, that's all I have to say right now. Cheers.